Hey, this is Paul, and today I'm going to share my new fertilizer routine. So hopefully you've seen our plants are so much healthier this season, and I think it's mainly because of this product right here. This is GRO-POWER Plus, and Scott's stepdad, who is Dan, we're going to interview him about why these are such good products. He recommended this last year, and I jumped on these in a second because his plants were so healthy last winter compared to mine, and they were actually cuttings from our plants.
Yeah, he's a new grower.
Yeah, and so I said, whoa, what? That was the first question I asked Scott. I said, what is his fertilizer? He found out it's this, and so I started using it. Now, I did it in a test plot, and I had such great results, I'm now using it on the whole farm. So what I recommend first is using GRO-POWER Plus early in the season because it has a low NPK, and it has this soil penetrant. And what I truly believe is the secret is humic acid and the soil penetrant, which is basically gypsum. So I'm using this to get that really green vegetative growth. It's only NPK 531. So heavy on the nitrogen, low on the P and the K. And then once we hit the flower season, May or June, I started using this. And this is their like bud and bloom version, so flower and bloom. Now look, the nitrogen's low, but it's higher P and K, which is what you want. So I switched to this. I fertilized a few weeks ago, last week actually, before the rain, and we had a huge flush of flower buds. Like so many varieties just kicked in. Now I'm not saying it could just be the weather or the time of year, but the plants are really green, really vigorous with this product. So using these in combination, I think are having some great results so far. And you could top dress it. It's really easy to apply. I'll go show you how I apply it in a second. But the new thing I want to try is I just bought this, and this is what Dan recommended. He said that he used these products, but in addition, he also used this. And he said you need to try a pellet for low dust, and it's gypsum. And what this does is we have really hard water in Southern California, and I believe it's more alkaline. So this will dissolve the soil, the salts, and break down and allow the plants to penetrate the soil deeper. So I'm going to explore this. We're going to talk to Dan about explaining why he believes that this is such a good thing to do for your dragon fruit. And then one other thing, he told me about using these chemical products and not organic, but he told me that in the landscaping industry, what they do is they use a lot of this, and it burns and kills the nematodes, which is, dragon fruit are often known to have problems with nematodes in the roots. So he told me that it's common that they use synthetic fertilizer or chemical fertilizer because it burns the nematodes. So that could be another factor as well. But personally, I think it really comes down to the gypsum and also the humic acids, because now I'm adding humic acid into our potting soil. So let me show you how I apply these products. Let's head down to that 100% sand pot, and I'll show you how I apply them. Now with the plants this size, I don't recommend using flower and bloom. You don't want them to try to bloom. So what I'm gonna use is the GRO-POWER Plus. You can see it kind of looks like black kitty litter. And you just top dress it. And I probably use a few handfuls, 2 to 3 on this pot. Since it's 100% sand, I'm gonna add an extra one. And then I just water it in really well, and it will break down slowly. You can see here, I did it a week ago or so before the rain, and you can see how much it's broken down. So that's what I do. I add about the same amount for the flower and bloom on bigger plants. So if I was to maybe go to like this one with a canopy, I would just do the same thing. And if you look, it looks very similar, a little bit more fine. And so just a few handfuls. You don't want to breathe it. 2 to 3 handfuls, water it in, good to go. So nice and easy.
How much are these products?
They're a bit more expensive. I want to say these were about $20 for these bags, but they do make larger bags, 50 pounds. So when I buy 50-pound bags, and it will treat just about all the plants.
How much is the 50-pound bag?
I want to say it's about $50 if I remember right.
So it's like $1 a pound?
About $1 a pound.
Okay.
You might be able to find them cheaper. I go to most of the farm supply store, and that's where I find it at Grangetto's locally. Or any of the big nurseries sell it as well. It's a really popular brand from what I've heard.
I've seen it over at Briggs in Vista.
Yeah, they sell it at Briggs Tree Farm as well. So there you go. I recommend giving them a shot. I really am having great results on these dragons. Look at this. I mean, just look at how healthy these seedlings are. And I didn't have this last year with Dr. Earth Bud and Bloom. So I'm getting much better results using synthetic fertilizer. I love being organic. but I just am having much better results with these. So let's head over and talk to Dan, and hopefully he could explain a little bit why these are such good fertilizers for dragons. All right, so we're here with Dan, and I'm really excited to learn more about GRO-POWER Plus. So Dan, you're in the landscape industry, correct?
Correct. My company is Priceless Services Incorporated. I have a website. It's called Priceless Services Inc. And we do all types of landscaping, outdoor living spaces, and so forth.
All right, well, we'll put that in the description, so check it out if you want. So Dan, tell me, why does GRO-POWER and GRO-POWER Plus help? Why do I see such a change in my dragon fruit this year?
Well, it's not considered totally organic, but it is an organic product put together. And so what happens is you're not destroying the soil when you use this type of a fertilizer. It'll help add, what am I trying to think of, nematodes and all these plant elements that are in the soil, bacteria. It won't kill those. It'll help add to it, if anything, and keep the soil from compacting and drying out.
And it has humic acid as well. How does that help dragon fruit?
Well, when you have your roots going down, there's little pockets that will trap and hold that humic acid, the bacteria. It'll help hold that. This will enhance that. So it has a place for the roots to go.
So the roots have more access to nutrients, I guess.
Correct.
In a sense. Okay.
Yes.
And then I was told by Vermistera using worm castings will help in addition, because the worm castings will feed the microbes as well as the humic acid.
Yeah, the worm castings are probably your most natural fertilizer and healthiest fertilizer.
Okay, so that's a good thing to add with GRO-POWER Plus?
Sure, but GRO-POWER suggests you don't use other fertilizers with it, though.
Okay, so you're better off just using it plain, but worm castings probably shouldn't hurt it too much.
You could probably alternate them.
Okay, alternate them would be a good idea. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I saw that it has soil penetrant, that's about 1% gypsum. And then last time I talked to you, you said add gypsum, so I went and bought the encapsulated gypsum like you said.
Right.
What's that going to do when I add it to my dragon fruit today?
Well, gypsum is a miracle type product. I mean, it's what they make drywall out of. But what it does is in clay soils, debunk the clay. It'll help the water penetrate through clay better.
Okay.
But on the other hand, if it's a sandy soil, it'll help hold the moisture in at the same time.
So depending on the soil, you'll still have an improved outcome with gypsum.
Right. Yeah.
How much do I add?
They recommend, if you're doing square footage wise, like 1,000 square feet, you want to do 30 to 40 pounds of gypsum per 1,000 square feet.
So maybe for a 20-gallon pot, a handful? Is that too much?
Yes, that's what I would do.
So just a nice handful.
Half a cup.
Okay, half a cup. How many times a year?
3 to 4 times a year. Not much. You can over gypsum, because then what will happen, it'll start collecting too much of the different chemicals in the soil, and you don't want that.
Okay. So I'll probably try it maybe twice this season and just see and go from there, and maybe 3 times.
Right. That's a good plan.
And then I was looking at your plants, and they look really healthy. I think the thing I found most intriguing is when I saw your plants the first time, I discovered that in the wintertime, your plants were much healthier than mine. And they came from my plants, the cuttings. So what do you think? Why do these fertilizers help with the cold tolerance?
I think it stimulates the roots more.
Okay, so they just have more extravagant root systems or wide systems, and they're able to maybe just be more hardy, I guess.
Right, and as you know, the plants take nutrition from the sun, absorb it down to the roots, and then the roots go back up to the top. And if you have good roots, aeration and food, it's going to feed the top of the plant and keep it green.
All right, and your plants look great. So I was out there just now. So
yeah, we're here in Escondido, and it does get cold, and they still hold up in the cold.
Yeah, you're a little bit colder and more inland than I am.
Correct.
So you get a little hotter, a little colder, but your plants look healthy.
Yes.
Well, is there anything else you think that we should share about GRO-POWER Plus?
They have a new one out that is all organic.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you tried it yet?
Not yet. I just found that out recently, so I haven't had a chance to get any. But
Okay, I'll have to try that as
yes,
well.
if you're into really organic gardening, that's the way to go. But chemicals will dry out your soil, they'll dry out the plant life, and that's not a good thing for any plant that you're growing.
Okay. All right, well, thanks so much for your expertise, Dan, and your time.
You're welcome.
Well, I learned a lot talking to Dan, and I actually need to clarify a couple things. These are not synthetic fertilizers. These are actually called conventional fertilizers made with organic components, not synthetic. Now, the difference between conventional and synthetic is that synthetic is going to have a really high NPK value. So if it's really large numbers, greater than 20, that's going to be a synthetic fertilizer. Now, the positive thing about synthetic fertilizer is it will burn the nematodes and kill those harmful nematodes. But the negative is it will dry out the soil and degrade it in time. So stick to organic or conventional fertilizer. Now, for this gypsum, that is calcium sulfate, which is basically sulfur and calcium. And you can kind of smell the sulfur, but the benefits of this is that it's 100% gypsum equivalent, and it will make your soil more porous. So I already put 1 handful in this 15-gallon. I'm going to put one more small one there. And over here, I'm going to put a larger handful for my second one on this 20-gallon. So doing this and watering it in a few times a year is going to improve the porosity of your soil, and you're going to get more air and water into the root zone. So just water it in, and again, don't over gypsum your plants. So I'm going to do this twice this year and see how it works. But the healthiest I've ever had my plants has been this year, and that's all because changing my potting soil, getting rid of Fox Farms, and then using these products. And we've had a great season. We're even getting quite a few fruit on the stems, which is pretty rare. So there you go. I really like these products. Give them a shot. Give us a like and a subscribe. Thanks for your time. Have a great day. Take care.